Behind closed doors, the FIA is quietly preparing for a showdown that could reshape the future of Formula One, because when it comes to tyres, enough is enough. With sweeping regulation changes on the horizon for 2026, the governing body is now laying the groundwork for something the sport has not seen in over a decade: a full-scale tyre war. At the centre of this brewing storm is a dissatisfied grid, a faltering Pirelli, and a resurging Bridgestone. The Japanese manufacturer has already approached the FIA and is quietly making its move, sensing the perfect moment to return to a sport desperate for tyre reliability, consistency, and innovation. But after more than a decade of silence, why is Bridgestone choosing to strike now? The answer lies in a perfect storm of opportunity and vulnerability. Formula One is standing at the edge of a generational reset. The 2026 regulations are not just about power units or aerodynamics. They represent a philosophical shift in how the sport wants to function. Sustainability, cost efficiency, and technical simplicity are no longer buzzwords, they are mandates. And tyres, often the most unpredictable and limiting factor in modern races, have become a focal point of that transformation. Bridgestone senses that the conditions are finally in its favour. Teams are increasingly vocal about their dissatisfaction with Pirelli's compounds, especially with the narrow operating windows and the growing gap between qualifying performance and race longevity. Drivers are no longer whispering complaints, they are making public, post-race statements about tyre degradation, overheating, and inconsistency. In some races, tyres have dictated outcomes more than the cars themselves. Bridgestone's rise in Formula One is one of the most memorable chapters in the sport's tyre history. When the Japanese manufacturer entered the grid in 1997, they were not simply joining a championship, they were entering a fierce battleground dominated by Goodyear. It did not take long for Bridgestone to make an impact. By the early 2000s, they had become a critical force behind Ferrari's unstoppable dominance. With Michael Schumacher behind the wheel and Bridgestone rubber beneath him, Ferrari secured 5 consecutive world titles from 2000 to 2004, forming a legendary partnership that redefined success in modern Formula One. However, the trajectory changed after 2007. Following Michelin's controversial withdrawal, Bridgestone was left as the sport's sole tyre supplier. While this move gave them complete control of the grid's tyre strategy, it came with significant challenges. The operational and financial burden of supplying every team on the grid grew heavier with each season. By 2010, faced with rising costs and a shift in corporate direction, Bridgestone made the difficult decision to leave Formula One. The exit shocked the paddock. Teams were left scrambling for a replacement, and fans saw the curtain fall on one of F1's most iconic tyre eras. Despite the sudden departure, Bridgestone's legacy remained untarnished, remembered for consistency, performance, and championship-winning quality. With Bridgestone stepping away, Pirelli stepped in for the 2011 season as the new sole supplier, taking on a very different challenge. Their brief was not just to provide tyres, but to actively shape the racing spectacle. Pirelli was instructed to develop high-degradation compounds that would force pit stops, shuffle strategies, and increase unpredictability. The goal was to entertain. And while the tyres certainly created dramatic moments and strategy twists, they also introduced a new layer of complexity. Drivers quickly found themselves battling more than just their rivals. Pirelli's compounds were unforgiving and operated within extremely narrow temperature windows. If the tyres were too cold, there was no grip. If they overheated, they degraded rapidly. Managing this fine balance became a core part of racecraft, and often determined who succeeded and who struggled. This year, degradation issues had only intensified. Teams were forced to build their strategies around tyre survival instead of outright performance, with engineers constantly chasing elusive setup windows for compounds that rarely delivered consistent behaviour. Pirelli's era has certainly added spectacle, but it has also kept drivers, strategists, and engineers in a constant state of adjustment. One of the most persistent complaints about Pirelli's tyres centres around their reliance on tyre blankets. These preheating devices are intended to help bring the tyres up to temperature before a car leaves the garage, but they often fall short of delivering consistent grip when it matters most. In colder conditions or during key moments such as safety car restarts, drivers regularly struggle to extract performance, leading to frustration across the grid. Lewis Hamilton has been vocal about these shortcomings, repeatedly criticising the tyres for their unpredictable nature. He has pointed out how the lack of grip during crucial parts of a race can completely change the outcome, especially when drivers need confidence and precision under pressure. A tyre that fails to respond is not just inconvenient, it can ruin a strategy. Fernando Alonso, always mindful of safety, has gone a step further. He has warned that tyres which take too long to reach reach their optimal temperature increase the risk of accidents in a sport already defined by razor-thin margins. Max Verstappen has also added his voice to the criticism, noting how inconsistent temperatures disrupt strategy and make it harder for drivers to stay competitive. When performance varies lap by lap, consistency becomes nearly impossible. The switch to 18-inch wheels in 2022 marked a significant turning point for Formula One and forced Pirelli to completely redesign its tyre range from the ground up. This was not a minor adjustment. Every element of the tyre, from the profile and internal structure to the compound itself, had to be re-engineered to meet the demands of the new regulations. According to Pirelli, the process involved more than 10,000 hours of indoor testing, 5,000 hours of simulation work, and the development of over 70 virtual prototypes. Out of those, 30 full-scale configurations were physically tested over 20,000 kilometers across multiple circuits with feedback from nearly every team on the grid. The result was a new generation of tyres with lower sidewalls and stiffer construction, intended to better align with the modern aerodynamics and increased weight of F1's latest machinery. Yet despite this extensive effort, the end product has struggled to consistently meet expectations. Under the intense demands of today's cars, Pirelli's tyres have often fallen short in key areas. Teams continue to report issues with temperature sensitivity, unpredictable grip, and a lack of durability across varying conditions. These problems have raised serious questions about whether Pirelli's advanced testing program is genuinely resolving performance gaps or simply masking them under controlled environments. To make matters more complicated, the 2026 regulations will once again flip the script. Cars are expected to become lighter and more compact, following the FIA's mission to reduce weight and improve energy efficiency. This will significantly alter the forces acting on tyres, from braking loads and cornering grip to thermal dynamics and wear patterns. For Pirelli, it means that the last 4 years of intensive development, from the 18-inch wheel overhaul to the thousands of hours spent simulating current car behaviour, may soon be obsolete. The tyres built for today's heavier, longer machines will no longer be fit for purpose. In essence, their entire tyre philosophy will need to be reimagined and their data bank reset. This is where Bridgestone finds a massive opportunity, and they are far from unprepared. While absent from Formula One since 2010, Bridgestone has continued to sharpen its competitive edge in other elite motorsports. They are currently the exclusive tyre supplier for Super GT, one of Japan's premier racing series, where tyre performance under mixed weather and high-speed endurance is constantly tested. Bridgestone's tyres in Super GT are known for their resilience, rapid warm-up capabilities, and consistent grip across a range of temperatures, all attributes Formula One teams have been begging for. In MotoGP, Bridgestone served as the control tyre supplier from 2009 to 2015 and earned wide acclaim for the performance and safety of their compounds. Riders praised the tyres for delivering excellent grip under braking, predictable feedback, and a wide thermal window, all under the extreme loads and lean angles that only motorcycle racing can produce. Even today, Bridgestone's reputation in MotoGP remains strong, with many considering their era as one of the most stable and performance-driven in the sport's tyre history. Bridgestone also plays a major role in endurance racing and EV motorsport, including tyre development for Formula E and sustainable racing concepts. These experiences have helped them innovate in low-degradation, energy-efficient rubber technology, exactly what the FIA wants for Formula One's future. This global motorsport portfolio gives Bridgestone a unique advantage. They are not returning to Formula One from a place of nostalgia. They are returning from a position of strength, with active, modern motorsport credentials and a proven track record in disciplines that demand tyre versatility, consistency, and safety. Unlike Pirelli, Bridgestone is not bogged down by adapting tyres built for now to fit the future. They are designing for 2026 from the outset, building compounds that can meet the challenges of lighter, faster, and more efficient Formula One cars. Do you think Bridgestone's return could finally solve Formula One's tyre troubles, or will it just start a whole new chapter of challenges? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.